everyone, and welcome into this week's edition of IceCats Insider. The season continues for your PD IceCats. Tom Callahan here, joined here by head coach Gary Graham. We'll hear from Director of Hockey Ops Nick Graham a little bit later on in the program. But Gary, first of all, congratulations on the big series win against the Columbus River Dragons, and in the inaugural season of the PD IceCats, a Commissioner's Cup final appearance. How does that feel?
It feels good. It hasn't really quite sank in yet. You're kind of just staying in the groove of that one day at a time thing is a real mindset that you have to have. So, for me, it was just enjoy it last night. Extremely proud of the team, especially showing the resolve on the road, the way that we had to do it both nights. It seemed like we were up against the world last night in a lot of different ways, and the guys again they kept their composure and we stayed off the refs. The best thing was we stayed off the refs, myself included, when things got a little down, and we just went in there. We came out in the third period with the belief that we had the prior night, and I think we outshot them like 15-4, 15-5, or something. I think in the third period, and was able to tie that game up. Great job. I told you before the game that special teams were going to be the difference, and was I not right or what? I mean, obviously they had all their power play goals. We had two power play goals. The one coming at the big time with the 6-on-4 with the goalie pulled, and then getting the job done in overtime was really fun to watch.
I know that you've been through, several playoff runs in your coaching career, but have you ever seen a team tie a game late twice facing elimination and then win both in overtime like that? That seems like something special.
That I've never been a part of. I can't even remember a series that has been like that, at least like it, in the coast where I was at, or, the SB or the Central League or the old IHL. So I can't remember any series like that. So yeah, it was definitely a unique thing. I think I didn't get a chance to really enjoy it last night because again, I knew there was going to be a goal. I knew there was going to be a review on it, right? With that way that puck got tipped in, you knew that they were going to take a look at it. So as much as I wanted to be happy right away, I thought it looked good on the ice. You know how many times this year, Tom, we've been on the wrong side of some of these things. So I was just telling the guys to keep their composure, stay over at the bench. I said, let's just get through this review process. I'm telling the guys, listen, win or lose this review, we're just going to keep doing what we do. And then we got the good goal call, and then we were able to celebrate.
Boy, celebrating twice. A little, I don't know if that's anticlimactic or not, but it certainly, made everybody pause there for a minute. And of course, you're right. I started wondering immediately too, and I feel, oh boy, here we go again, because of the way things have gone. But it's nice to have that break go for you.
Yeah, for sure. It was a good feeling. And again, like I said, the game, got out of our hands, and we, a little bit was of the second period was self-inflicted on our part. But again, I didn't necessarily agree with several things that happened in that period. But again, overall, I know again, I see the reviews on these pages and stuff like that. I really thought the refereeing has been pretty darn good in the playoffs in both series overall. And again, we're playing a Binghamton team that's pretty disciplined. They have a very seasoned, disciplined coach. So, it's going to be something where, we just need to be able to control our emotions and let our play do the talking.
You and I talked before the series, and one of the things we discussed was, the big players stepping up, having their big time games, making an impact. And game 3, I mean, Houston Wilson with the hat trick, that's a guy right there that, I don't think you could have a bigger game on a bigger stage.
No, it was unbelievable for him. He's a guy that's been grinding. He's been playing a lot of years of pro hockey, and he's playing at this level, for a reason. It's to win a championship, and that is his why. And every guy in that locker room has a why and what they're playing for right now in the playoffs. And for me personally, it's about it's all about the boys. I really coached at this to watch them have success. I get a lot of joy watching them with big smiles on their face and partying together on the bus and having a good time. It makes me feel young at heart, and that's what I love to feel. It's good energy for me personally at my age, and I just love seeing them come together and solve problems, as a team. And I think that's what we did. Tom, we solved the problem. We did not have a great game on Wednesday night. We weren't happy with our game, and we knew going into the playoffs being a 4 seed that we were going to have to be road warriors, and that's what we were.
Gary, don't make me feel old over here at my age. Listen to you talking like you're an old man over there. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. Let me ask you this. So, in this playoff series, for a team to come back, tie it, as we said, late twice, facing elimination, then win it in overtime twice to extend and then win the series, did you learn anything new about your team that maybe you didn't know heading into that Columbus series?
Not really. I mean, I really feel like the whole season, the team has stayed in shape. We have great gym partnerships, yoga. The guys are very well taken care of off the ice. With the different sponsors that we have, and we work them hard in practice. It's they're a good they're in shape, and I think that's the one thing that I keep reminding them when we get into these overtimes and these third periods is to trust your conditioning. Trust what you've been trust the work that you've been putting in all year during the work week. Trust what we do in practice, and go out there and just and play like we practice, and that's what we do.
Both nights, game two and game three on the weekend, this team came out and had really good third periods. Columbus didn't get too many shots. PD really carried the attack to them both times and managed to break through late. Take us inside the locker room in that second period intermission. What are you saying to the boys as far as, hey, we've got this game still in front of us, 20 minutes to go. What are you telling them?
I won't get into what I say, but I will say that, anytime your team responds like that, that it's not going to be about what the coach says. It's really going to be about the team and the leaders. And a lot of times it might even be guys stepping up and saying things that aren't even wearing letters. But, it's always in these type of games, big moments, the players will lead, and the coach can say a couple things, could make a couple adjustments, but at the end of the day, those guys are playing hard for each other, and the best teams, they're always player led teams. You take the coach aside, it's the players in that room get the job done.
Dominic Marcinkiewicz comes back for game two and game three in this series, and he jumps in. He does get that game time goal in game two, but beyond that, I mean, it causes you to really have to consider your line combinations and put some thought into where things go. And even during the games, we saw you were moving some guys around and everything. Take us inside that process a little bit of trying to really fit someone in at this stage of the game.
Well, he's spent the majority of the season with us, so we know what he can do. We know where he's had some chemistry with some different guys. We've had moments during the season where certain combinations have really worked, and then they've gone stale, and then we change it up, and then we kind of catch lightning in a bottle. And you can see too, like Columbus, that they had a really good deep pair. I thought Samaro and Thornton, really did a good job. They were really trying to zero in their best skating deep pair against Lakehoff, and so I would occasionally try to get him away from that matchup and try to get him on against a different D. And so we moved some things around sometimes, but I thought, we were not great in the faceoff dot. I thought we did better last night. But again, even on Wednesday and Friday's game, we didn't win enough faceoffs. That's why we didn't have our normal, usually 40 shots on goal games, because we weren't starting with the puck a lot. So, I was trying to get some different center matchups sometimes. And, so when you're tweaking the lines and the other team's trying to match you up, sometimes you can get those matchups that you're looking for. So, but also, I wanted to get everybody involved yesterday, so you had all 10 forwards going, and I was rolling with different lines. You had sometimes that Lakeoff was with a Welshie and a Gullo, sometimes. And just, I trust everybody at this point in the season. Everybody knows what we need to be doing. And, it's weird sometimes like I like to say, you can catch lightning in a bottle with a certain line combination that you wouldn't have normally thought.
Well, and I mean, trying to figure out too, especially when you're looking for that goal late in the third period, you're just hoping somebody gets out there, gives you that moment. And we talked about, the play off the face off in game two, and then, the power play, the 6-on-4. A lot of fans talk about the pulling of the goaltender and taking Colgan out for the extra attacker and trying to do it at the right time and knowing when to do it. Do you have a rule of thumb? Do you take it game by game? Is it situational? How do you approach that?
Just a lot of experience, and I trust my gut. I really trust my gut. For me, it's you're always playing percentages, And, in that situation with a minute left, our power play, we got a goal earlier, obviously from Houston on the power play, but their penalty kill was pretty good. The biggest thing is we wanted to make sure we had plenty of guys around the net because we were going to have a shooting mentality, and we wanted to make sure we outnumbered them on a rebound. And that's why we pulled the goalie, and you can see that's why it worked out where Houston Wilson was wide open on the rebound on the back door.
Yeah, that was. I mean, looking at that, as it was happening, it slow motioned a little bit for me watching it, and I thought, "Wow, this is the moment right here. It's going to come together again, second night in a row, and it's just got that kind of. It had a special feel to it, and I know that for a lot of the fans, and obviously there's been a lot of folks commenting, whether it's online or in person, after the game, a lot of folks are just excited by the feeling around this team right now. Gary, are you feeling that around this team right now? Do you have that kind of buzz heading into this final against Binghamton?
Well, you had we had some fans that met us last night, at 4:30 in the morning when we got back. I know how excited everybody is. Frankly, you know me, I'm kind of a hermit. I don't really go out in town much. It's pretty much the gym and the grocery store. That's pretty much it. So, but I do know, and I hear that the pulse is real out there. And again, like we're playing for each other, but we're also playing for the community. The guys really love it here. They love what's going on in the community. They talk about it all the time behind closed doors. And again, to give them something like this in our first year is really exciting. I told the owners and the staff to really embrace this because it's I was really blessed early in my career to be in this situation a lot. It seemed like 4 out of my first 6 years or 5 years, I was in a championship round finals or won a ring. And then I went a long time, frankly, a long, long time. And now I'm back in a championship round. And so, when I was younger, I didn't really appreciate the moment. I was just so focused on the next game, and I never wanted to get too high. But I really kind of regretted it, looking back on it, not really appreciating the moment that you're in. So, I want the guys to really embrace that. We got a job to do. We know what that is. But again, for the staff, for the community, for the ownership, let's really embrace it.
Gary Graham is our guest right now, head coach here on IceCats Insider. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about this Binghamton series coming up, being in the final, game 1 and 2, coming up at home. So stay tuned. There's plenty more coming your way in just a moment.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. From the first bite to the last bite, that bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, you have those 3 things together, and it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Real guest paid for their testimonial.
Dal Massimo Ristorante Italiano, where culinary passion meets the art of hospitality. Established in 2010, our restaurant was born out of a love for authentic flavors and a commitment to providing our guests with a memorable dining experience. At Dal Massimo, we believe that food is more than just sustenance. It's a celebration of culture and community. Whether you're here for a cozy dinner, a festive celebration, we look forward to serving you.
Gorget is a local craft distillery based in Lugoff, South Carolina, producing rum, vodka, whiskey, and bourbon in small batches. Founded in 2015 by 3 local gentlemen, Gorget has a fine line of handmade, local spirits. No matter what you desire, we have something for you. Isn't it about time you revolutionize your spirit? Visit us online at gorgetdistilling.com.
At the Law Office of W. James Hoffmeyer, we strive to help our clients in whatever situation they are facing. Whether you need help with criminal law, personal injury, or family law, our hard-working team will assist you throughout the process with compassion and integrity. Our goal is to always provide our clients with outstanding representation and advocacy throughout their case. The Law Office of W. James Hoffmeyer, serving South Carolina since 1992.
Get ready to savor the flavors of our long-standing family recipes bursting with authenticity and love. Indulge in the vibrant colors and aromas that create a fiesta for your senses with every bite. Your journey through our menu is a delicious adventure guided by tradition and the freshest ingredients Mother Earth has to offer. Come join us at 842 Woody Jones Boulevard in Florence. Order online at margaritasmexicanrestaurants.com. Margaritas. Experience the love in every bite.
McLeod Health is committed to helping you obtain a healthy lifestyle and improve your overall health. Medically trained in the areas of fitness and nutrition, we can help you reduce your risk for certain diseases and live a long, healthy life through fitness and wellness programs, community health education, and 2 medically based wellness centers. McLeod Health is with you on your journey to better health. Discover a new you at McLeod Health and Fitness Centers.
Looking to score big with your printing? M&M Printing and Graphics is your hometown team. From flyers, business cards, and posters, to vinyl graphics, banners, and outdoor signage, we do it all. Whether you're promoting your business, cheering on your team, or bringing your brand to life, we've got the players and the skills to make it happen. Visit mmpg.us or call 843-662-2412. M&M Printing and Graphics, the official printer of the PD IceCats.
Welcome back on PD IceCats Insider. I'm Tom Callahan, joined by head coach Gary Graham, talking about this Binghamton Black Bears team coming up here. Oh my goodness, we are in the Commissioner's Cup final. Yes, it's real. Friday night, Saturday night at Florence Center, 7:15 puck drop for games 1 and 2. It is a best of 5 in the Commissioner's Cup final, so a little bit longer series. And Gary, let's start there. Now, instead of a best of 3, which is a very short series, and boy, a lot of things can change quickly. Does anything shift for you knowing that it's a little bit longer and now it's the first team to win 3 games as opposed to 2?
No, not really. It's obviously you always want to get game 1. We're going to be focused on that. Bingo's going to come into town. I think on Wednesday night they'll have their practice here. We'll have a couple practices ourselves, and we know the crowd's going to be fantastic this weekend. We want to be sharp. We want to be detailed. We want to make sure we set the tone on home ice. We've been a good home ice team this year. We play with confidence in this rink. We love playing in front of our fans, and obviously, they get the extra game with being game 5. But I still like the fact that we get these first 2 games on home ice, and then travel up there next week. So, we have a chance to set the tone early on here in our rink, and we just need to be ready to do that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about that opening at home here with these first 2 games. What does that mean to you and, of course, to the boys in the room?
Well, it means everything, but Bingo's used to this. They've been in the finals the last couple years, and that's typically the way these series always are. Is when you have the home ice advantage, you're going to get the back 3 games and go on the road the first 2 games. So it's nothing new for a very experienced Binghamton Black Bears team that's won the last 2 Commissioners Cups. So this is a very seasoned team. They have some new pieces, but the new pieces that they have are very, very older veteran guys like Bondarenko's and Mac Jensen's and those type of guys. CJ Stubbs, these type of guys are, they've been around in producing, at the SP level or this level for quite some time. So, it's going to be a big challenge for us.
Before we get into talking about Binghamton and the particular challenges this matchup may or may not present, when you're talking to some of these guys, now, obviously, I know a guy like, and fans may not, but I'll let them know, Xavier Abdella has been around, has won. There are guys who have been to a final, maybe have lost or have made deep playoff runs. But Gary, for yourself, as someone, as you mentioned earlier in the show, you early in your career experienced a lot of success and then didn't for a while. Now you're back in it. I mean, what is something that you can share with these players, whether it's their first time or their 10th time going through this, that might be able to help them heading into the final?
I really think just, again, embracing the moment, not letting the moment be bigger, than what it needs to be. We're playing a game that we love. You have to remember that, with pressure comes expectation and comes responsibility. And whether you're in the real world in a corporate, 500 company, or you're owning your own business or something like that, there's daily pressures every single day. Once they decide to retire and hang them up, you got a family that you got to provide for. You got a lot of different things in your life. You've got responsibilities that are even bigger than what they have right now. So, they're playing a game that they love, and they're getting a chance to do it with their family, and that's their teammates, which they all love each other very much. So, you get to do that and get paid to do it. That's a really special opportunity, and now again to get a chance to do something really special and get a chance to try to win a championship in their first year together. So, those are the things that we remind the guys of. And again, like for me, again, like I already said before in this interview, is just, enjoy it, really, really enjoy it, soak it all in.
It's been really incredible watching these guys come together over the course of the season. And I haven't even been here for the whole thing. I mean, obviously I got here about a month late, but just watching, the bonding experience and just as everything kind of came together and started to really gel down the stretch. I mean, what does that mean for you as a coach?
Well, that's the leadership group. They've been an extremely inviting leadership group. I mean, when new guys have come in and then some of their buddies get traded away or something like that, it's never easy because there could be a lot of hostility, animosity, maybe some guys that we trade for coming in. There could be, some previous battles or fights between guys when they were playing against each other in certain teams. And so you're not maybe as inviting into the room with new guys. But what Diaz has done and the other captains is they have just been so good to all the new guys that have come in. They've made them, they've acclimated quickly. They've bonded quickly. They do all the right things as a leadership group to make the room feel warm and special. It's a place where guys want to come every single day. And I can't tell you how important that is, whether you're winning or losing, is that, certain teams, it's very tough as a coach when you got to go out there, work them hard in practice, and they're already defeated when they get on the ice before you even start working them. And so you want to create a fun environment, an environment where guys love being around each other. So when they step on that ice, they're ready to work hard. They're working hard together as a group. They're working as a group to solve problems in practice or whether it's a game or whatever. So, again, the credit goes to the guys in the room. I as the head coach, play a very small part in that. The only thing that Nick and I do is we try to recruit the right type of players that are good character guys, guys that have, good work ethics. They're gym guys. They're in shape. They're going to fit some of those things. They can skate well. There's certain things that we want to look for. They don't have previous locker room problems with other teams. We don't want to be bringing in stuff like that. So, that's what Nick and I do. But other than that, it's really all the credit goes to the room.
We're chatting with head coach Gary Graham here on PD IceCats Insider. Tom Callahan here with you. Gary, let's look at Binghamton. This matchup coming up, you talked a little bit about them, their strengths. There's some pretty obvious guys. I mean, CJ Stubbs, one of the leading scorers of the playoffs right now, actually, along with Patrick Smarcinkevics, and Houston Wilson has 5 goals in the postseason. What are some of the strengths of this Black Bears team? What do they do well?
Well, they defend extremely well. If you look at them, they don't give up a lot 5-on-5. They're aggressive on the penalty kill. They're up ice aggressive on you. They're aggressive in the zone. They're a good skating team, and they're deep. They could roll all 6D, all 10 forwards at you with 2 good goaltenders. So, they're really the complete package. There's no weakness in their game in terms of offense, defense, special teams. They don't have a flaw. They do a very good job of getting to the net. They crash the net well. They do a good job of putting pucks on net and finding loose pucks in the slot area. And then again, they also have some D that are very good offensively that can cause you some problems if you're not quick to check on them and making sure you're aware of where they're at. Guys that can find time and space like Bondo. He's good at getting ahead of the play and then delaying and finding those late guys and finding that late defenseman joining the rush. So, there's a lot of different things that we're going to be ready for in terms of our pre-scout.
Gary, if things had gone the other way, you'd be playing a Port Huron team that you had not at all seen during the regular season. But Binghamton, you had a chance to play in Binghamton, and you did come out with a pretty big victory up there in New York. How important was that experience for this team?
Well, what you and the listeners need to realize is that, yes, the win was good. Their team's different now, so we're not really looking at that. Both teams are different right now. But what the listeners and you might not realize is what happened on that Saturday night after we won that game. It was probably the best team bonding event that catapulted this team in the second part of the season. We had an unbelievable night out on the town of Bingo. I'm not going to tell stories about it, but the boys, they had a great, great night in Binghamton. It was a great team bonding night. The guys got extremely close on that road trip. And we honestly, that was a big catapult, Tom, to how we played in the second part of the season, how we played harder for each other. The team got tighter. I always say this, the teams that win are the teams that are tight off the ice. And that group got extremely tight from that weekend, and it really helped us the back half of the season.
And I mean, down the stretch, we've seen it. We've seen the difference it made, and it's always nice to know also that you can win on the road. You can win in difficult situations, and right now, this team is checking a lot of those boxes. Going through, I mean, you did well against Athens. You really had to scratch and claw and beat to Columbus. So, Gary, in those two series, we've really seen almost a full season's worth of different scenarios, but yet experiencing success along the way for this team.
Yeah, again, we're battle tested. We've been in a lot of hostile environments. We didn't have, the only games against non-playoff teams that we played the whole year were the 3 against Danbury, and Danbury's still no slouch. They were a team that was constantly, in the playoffs for years and years, and they still, stole one game from us here, but they played us tough. But the rest of the season was all against playoff teams and against hostile environments and stuff like that. So, I mean, again, it's for us. We said all year that, that strength of schedule could benefit us. And I feel like it has. It's got us right where we need to be, and that's mentally tough, ready to accept all challengers and ready to compete in all environments.
Well, Gary, I'll kind of start to wrap it up on this with you. One of the most obvious storylines, and I mean glaringly obvious, Binghamton is going for 3 in a row. PD is in its first season as a franchise in the FPHL, period, let alone making a trip to the final. Do you put any stock in that championship experience of the been there, done that of the Binghamton Black Bears versus this freshman club achieving so high that they find themselves in the final?
I think it's going to be a good matchup. I don't put any. Obviously, they've been there and done that. They have the more experience on their side in terms of this environment. But people have been counting us out all season long, Tom. And the only people that really matters about what we think about this situation is myself, the owners, the staff here, and our hockey team. And we believe that we can beat anybody, and that's not going to change no matter who we're playing. So. The challenge is real. If you want to win anything of any significance in your life, it's going to be extremely difficult and extremely challenging. That's what this series is going to present to us, and we'll be ready to rise to the occasion.
All right. Well, Gary, I don't think we could wrap it up with anything better than that, so I'm going to let you go on that. But looking forward to the weekend, playing at home. Good luck in it. And you know what? We always appreciate the time. And let's take the time this week, all of us, to just take a deep breath and savor the experience. So, Gary, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, we'll be back with more in just a moment here on IceCats Insider. Stay tuned. Nick Graham, Director of Hockey Ops, coming your way next.
The PD IceCats are lighting up the scoreboard, and Powers Properties is proud to be the official housing provider. Looking for an apartment? Powers Properties has you covered with modern apartments, convenient locations, and a team that puts you first. Just like the IceCats, we know what it takes to win, on and off the ice. Score big with Powers Properties. Relax, you are home.
Known for his integrity, attention to detail, and client-first approach, Sean Austin builds lasting relationships based on trust and results. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer, a seasoned investor, or looking to sell your current home, Sean combines local expertise with strong negotiation skills to deliver a seamless experience from start to finish. Austin and Associates at RE/MAX Professionals. Your next address is just a slap shot away. Go IceCats!
Welcome to Seminar Brewing, where craft beer meets culinary delight. Located at 551 West Lucas Street in the heart of Florence, we offer an unforgettable experience for beer enthusiasts and food lovers alike. Pair your favorite brew with our mouth-watering menu. Our kitchen serves up everything from savory snacks to hearty meals, all crafted to complement our beers perfectly. Seminar Brewing. Taste the difference that local passion makes.
Southco Commercial Curb Appeal is the trusted partner for businesses in Florence and surrounding areas that want to maintain a clean, safe, and attractive commercial properties. With our wide range of services, from sweeping and landscaping to snow and ice treatment, we're here to ensure your property remains in pristine condition all year long. Southco Commercial Curb Appeal. Experience the difference.
No matter which forklifts you walk into, you'll know it's special. And just for you. Our stylists don't guess your best cut. They are experts in men's and boys' hair. Our cutting zone has all the basics in specialized equipment, from our comfortable cutting chairs to an array of specialized cutting tools and clippers. We got you covered. Visit Sport Clips of Florence today, located at 1940 Hoffmeyer Road, Suite D. We are the pros in men's hair.
Welcome back on IceCats Insider. We are joined right now by Director of Hockey Operations, Nick Graham for the PD IceCats, as the IceCats looking forward to hosting the Binghamton Black Bears. Game 1 on Friday night, 7:15 p.m. Game 2, 7:15 p.m. on Saturday night, both at Florence Center. Get your tickets now through the Florence Center box office or online at Ticketmaster.com. Nick, thanks for taking the time to join us. Have you recovered or even come down from dual elimination overtime victories for this IceCats team?
I don't think I will completely for a couple more weeks. So today,
take us through what it was like on the bench both those nights. You tie the game so late, and I mean 25.2 seconds left to go in game 2, facing elimination, an icing face off on the other end. You tie it, then win it in the overtime. The next night, 1:01 left to go in regulation. Goalie pulled, power play goal, and you win it in overtime. I mean, what is that like?
Well, it was one of those things. Like we knew we were the faster team. We knew we didn't have the quit in us. And going into those third periods, we were confident. And as the game those periods, we felt we outplayed them. All around, they kind of went into more of a defensive shell style, and we started putting shot opportunities on Babin and making sure that we made him trying to tire his legs out. And sure enough, we waited plenty long. One of them finally would go in, and then I remember looking right at Houston on Saturday night when we scored that tying goal, and he was by the bench. We were going in for. Said, hey, we just won that game. And you could just feel it. It was one of those moments where you knew. And kind of the same thing Saturday or Sunday. It was, when I had that game up, we kind of looked at each other and said, okay, we're in overtime. We're okay. Not without a scare right before the end of the third period that Drew Welsh got us an amazing block. But, we were confident. We had a feeling overtime, and we scored that last goal. We were going to win those games, and that's exactly what happened. But it was definitely a range of emotions.
I cannot imagine. Well, I mean, I can. I was there, and it was fantastic. And not only that, but Nick, doing it on the road, too. That's the other thing. You had to win both those games on the road in Columbus after, a disappointing and tough loss at Florence Center in Game 1. That was not an easy task, and that takes a lot of guts, a lot of moxie, and this team just seems to have that this year.
They have a lot of drive to them. And like I said just a little bit ago, there's absolutely zero quit in this team. And, the nice thing is there was a lot of guys on the bench this weekend that are normally kind of quiet, that really step, and they would say their piece on timeout, media timeouts and stuff, and build each other up. And it was watch, like, you stand there and let them talk a little bit, and you can just tell they weren't ready to go home. They didn't want to go home to that team, and especially in a building like that. Tom, you really experienced in that building for the years you spent there, but that's not an easy place for a road team. and they have their fans right above the benches with those horns that we all love, and they make it hard on you to win a game there. And the fact that these guys had the drive and the wherewithal to come out of there 2 days in overtime against a very experienced team and a big team was really amazing to watch, and it was really fun. And it pumps you full of confidence going forward to know what we have coming next. And we're trying to take it all in as much as we can.
What was going through your mind when it went to video review in Game 3?
I knew it was good, honestly. I watched that puck leave the stick, and I tracked it all the way in. I saw it hit Houston's stick, and I knew it was good. The only problem is we don't know what camera angles they have. We don't get to see that, so I'm thinking in my head, it was off. This could get called back just because it was waist high for sure. But I don't know. I just sat there and in the sky and said, "There's no chance that you take this away from us right now. There's no chance that happens." And then they came out and said, "Good goal," and it was time to have some fun.
Especially having been on the other side of that a few times. Gary Graham talked about it earlier in the show. I mean, and I thought it was good too. I agree with you. I was watching that one. I saw the deflection, but man, you still can't help but just have that little bit of a squeeze,
Yeah, well, it's gone against us a few times, like you said. The nervousness was definitely there, but I was confident in what I saw. There's some other things that I was confident about earlier, but it was I don't know. I just had that feeling that we were good, and I couldn't remember. I'm standing on the bench and I was like, I think they review every overtime goal, and then I thought they didn't review Saturday night's overtime goal. So between leagues, I guess it's kind of hard to keep up and remember what's what and what rules are what when it comes to overtimes, because it seems like they change quite often.
Well,
between the leagues.
I mean, and you know what? It's as long as it went to the way of the IceCats, I suppose for now we can exhale a little bit, right?
Deep breath.
Yes, several deep breaths were required after that one. Nick, one of the greatest, in my opinion, the greatest traditions in hockey, and there are a lot of great traditions, but the handshake line. And you see it after every playoff series. Guys who just absolutely tried to knock each other unconscious for the last 3 games go through and shake hands. Take the fans listening in through a handshake line like there was in Columbus. Can you tell us a little bit of what's said, what it means, to the guys, to the coaching staff? What is that like?
It's emotional, to be honest. No matter what side you're on, if you win, you're happy. If you lose, obviously you're sad. But it's really the best way to describe it. It's very emotional. And it's you want to be really ecstatic and happy for your guys, and then you look in the eyes of the guys that just lost, their season's over, and you feel bad for them. You got that team. A lot of us know all those guys and have been around them for a long time, and like a Trevor Babin or a Kyle Moore and all those guys, and Kirk Underwood, and seeing them upset, it's hard. But then you get to see your guys' excited faces, and you go through it. Everybody just says congratulations, and we're best of luck and great season and all that. And, we have our individual chats with some of the guys. Like I talked with Babin for a second because I've known Trevor for a few years, and Gary talked with him, and then of course with Boom. We all know Jerome really well. He's a great coach, and we love that guy. And have a good chat with him, and it's a different experience. It's one that you can't really describe until you're there. And I don't know, it's special. It really is. It's special. There's a lot of memories from those.
As the line was going on after go ahead, sorry.
No, you're good.
As the line was going on, after the post game there on game 3, and the two incredibly intense overtime battles, everything going on with that. I started just going through some of the storylines and thinking about the former River Dragons on the IceCats, and then the former teammates opposing one another. Brendan Colgan, who's won a championship but also lost with the River Dragons in this exact same spot. All of those players, the Jordan Popoffs going through Jake Cox, who is a Columbus, Georgia native. And then you have, the Motor City guys who paused, as you mentioned, Babin. I know, obviously teammates with guys like Gullo and Miguel Diaz. And I mean, there's so many connections within the game where guys have played together before or they played against each other before. Boy, it's just absolutely incredible to see and even think about that all taking place within the context of a series, again, where these two teams are really just trying to wipe each other off the ice.
Yeah, it is. That's the thing, some people don't realize outside of the game of hockey is just how close knit it is as a sport, and how tight knit and small the community is. That's a good word for us, how small the community is. And 80% of those guys on that ice have played with or against each other at some point in their lives. And there was a lot of to get them to lose and beat the River Dragons. And Jake Cox, for one, was cut from there back in the day, and Pizzaminti got released this year, and Colgan was there for years, and Pops, and they were excited to beat the team that they left.
Tom Callahan was excited.
Tom Callahan, yep, you were there for 3 years, right?
3 years.
Yeah. So it's honestly, it's really, really neat to see. And you can't help but smile for those guys and see how excited they were at the end of that game. And after everybody leaves the ice, how excited they were in the locker room and everything like that. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah, Nick, I had a chance to chat before the game with Jake Cox, just very briefly in the hallway while he was stretching out, and we in no uncertain terms just described very briefly to one another how important that was to us heading into that game 3. So, finally getting there, getting over the hump. I mean, for some of these guys who might be towards the end of their career, or some of the more veteran guys who've been there already, but I mean, even for some of the rookies, like, this is an absolutely massive moment in your hockey life. And Gary talked about it earlier, saying he didn't think he appreciated it as much early in his career, but now that he's a little bit older, he thinks about it and he says, you know what, now it's something he wants to just take a moment at least to appreciate the fact that, hey, you're not going to be in a final every single year.
Yeah, that's a big thing. And it's new for me. It's new for everybody. Like, first year, you just don't expect to get in the finals like this. And it's hard to come up with words, honestly. Like, I'm sitting here trying to think of the words, and it's hard to describe just the year that we've had and the adversity we've had to battle, in and out of the rink. And it really is. It's special. After the game, I know you weren't down there right away, but a lot of us, there's a lot of emotion shown in the locker room, and, some tears shed of happiness and everything else. So it's really awesome. It's crazy how it all works.
Nick, talk to us, if you will, about the process of building this team that has now made it into the final. And I mean, not just, going all the way back, you've been building this team for a calendar year. And putting it together, getting it into training camp. But specifically, I want to talk about 2026, that part of the calendar here down the stretch, making those little tweaks, those little adjustments. What went into that for you, the hockey ops staff, the ownership, and trying to make sure you get this team as sharp as they can?
Honestly, a lot of studying on players. And it's a lot of homework, recruiting, everything else comes into style that you want to play. And, we wanted to go with a fast team to start. Now we've kind of wanted to get a little bigger and play a heavier game for the playoffs. And we've succeeded in that. But I'll tell you what, man, when we recruited over the summer, the team couldn't look any different than what we thought it would now. And it's just it's pretty crazy how the changes have happened, and it's all worked out in our favor. And you know, we're very proud of the roster that we've put together and the guys that are in our room. It's a very tight knit team, and we tried to, the team we built knew each other. There's a lot of familiarity with all these guys in this room, and we've learned that's kind of a key to success, it seems like. So as we go in the future, it's going to be a big key for us to find guys that have played together and continue on with that small niche, I guess would be a good way to say.
Nick, was there a moment then during the season that a conversation maybe you had or a game that was played that made you decide, hey, we need to get bigger and more physical, or was it just something that evolved over the course of the season?
It wasn't something that we discussed in depth and detail. It was kind of something that we just kind of knew that we needed to do. And, we added guys like a Jake Hamilton to added size, experience, and physicality to the roster, made it easier for our guys to have space created for them. And then, Popoff has been playing bigger and stronger. Jugs has been in and out of the lineup. And when he's in, he plays really heavy, and that helps. So the guys that we do have that have size have stepped up and began to play heavier and protect our smaller guys, our skill forwards. So I wouldn't say we really had that discussion that, hey, we have to do this right now. It was more of an evolution of the roster itself.
It's interesting too, Nick, because this is, a lot of organizational members, I guess is the best way to put it, first season in the FPHL. So, I mean, expectations can be a little different. I mean, whether you've been in the East Coast League, the SP, or, the American League, the NHL, wherever you've been, it's just different here. And I think you have to go through a little bit of a process of learning that too.
Yeah. I mean, we've been around, me and Gary have been around other places, and, between junior hockey and pros and everything else, it's a learning experience. The Fed is, things change often, rosters often change. I mean, everything. It's different. It's just it's a lot more movement than I'm used to, and it's been a lot of fun to get used to and see how it's going.
Well, it's going pretty well so far as this team is preparing for the Binghamton Black Bears in the Commissioner's Cup final. We're talking with Nick Graham. Why don't we take a quick break, and we'll come right back on the other side of it, wrap things up here on this week's edition of IceCats Insider.
Life happens on your floors, but when dirt, spills, and messes take over, it's time to call the experts. Stanley Steamer of Florence provides a deep cleaning technology that removes dirt and allergens, leaving your floors fresh and spotless. Breathe easier and enjoy a cleaner, healthier home with Stanley Steamer. Call or visit us online today. Stanley Steamer, your home deserves it.
For more than 85 years, Tomlinson Sales Company has proudly served customers across South and North Carolina. As a proud partner and the official outlet store of your PD IceCats, stop by to check out exclusive IceCats merchandise, plus an ever-changing inventory that makes Tomlinson a must-stop destination. Visit them at 1309 East Palmetto Street in Florence and discover the PD's hometown store. Tomlinson Sales Company, where great service, trusted brands, and community pride come together. That's Tomlinson Sales Company, 85 years strong and still serving the Carolinas.
We back. Let's go. Out in London, that's my team. Slide through streets, help box and beans. In the streets, the life get crazy. Falling asleep, my eye get lazy. Ain't God on my side, it's forever. Don't come run if you dance with the devil. Ain't even through the rainy weather. Me and the brother, we stick together.
Don't know if I'm red or blue like Manchester. 12 of my boon at the phone up Leicester. Men got too many bars like a cliff. Tofi and Tommy, we doing it diff. Had to medicate, roll up a spliff. Ganja stink, I can't even sniff.
Open the scat with a wristlet diff. Funny banter instead of
the heart of Florence, South Carolina, discover Palmetto Smiles, where artistry meets advanced dental care, led by Dr. Brian Sang. Dr. Sang is a highly trained implant and cosmetic dentist, dedicated to transforming smiles with advanced techniques. He's committed to continuing education and bringing the latest methods to every patient. At Palmetto Smiles, comprehensive dentistry is under one roof: general care, restorative solutions, TMJ therapy, delivered with compassion. Ready for a healthier, more beautiful smile? Call 843-203-5155 or visit palmettosmiles.com. Dr. Brian Sang and his team can't wait to welcome you.
Ding dong.
Mountain Dude?
The mountain is calling.
Give me a mountain, lots to do. Give me the sunshine, give me a dew. Give me something simple and true. All I need is sunshine and that cool, refreshing mountain dew. Yeah, give me the sunshine, give me
For 20 years, we've captured more than weddings, we've captured legacies. The laughter, the tears, the moments that last a lifetime. Every glance, every vow, every I do, preserved in stunning cinematic detail. Because your love story deserves more than memories, it deserves to be a film that lives forever. Something to remember wedding productions. 2 decades of love stories, beautifully told.
Welcome back as we wrap things up here on IceCats Insider. Tom Callahan, Nick Graham joining us here. My thanks to Gary Graham for joining us earlier on. And in case you missed it earlier in the episode, yes, indeed, the PD IceCats are in the Commissioner's Cup Final. Game 1 at Florence Center on Friday night, 7:15 p.m. Game 2 at home in the best of 5 Saturday night at 7:15 as well. Nick, this team earlier this year went to Binghamton, actually beat Binghamton in their barn on the road. I know it was a crazy road trip with the snow and everything happening around that. And I mean, take me back to that time, if you will, and your thoughts about that and maybe what that means in context now, knowing that you're going to see the Black Bears again.
Well, that was definitely a crazy road trip. It was one of the more fun ones we've had all year, honestly. Where I truly believe the team really came together as a family because we, spent that long with each other in hotels and on the road. And that was a really long stretch of road games on top of that. And, good snowball fights in the middle of a blizzard was always fun. So the fun thing is, we've seen this team, we know this team and how they can play and vice versa. But, we've added some pieces like they have in the late season. So it's definitely going to be a new feel and vibe to playing each other, I believe. It's going to be fun to see because they're more of a north-south skill team, kind of like we like to be more of a skill team. So I think it's going to be a lot of high pace, fast action versus playing someone like a Columbus that's more physical. We get to play a team that likes to play like we do. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And both teams have great head coaches that know each other and again know how each other coach, and it's just going to be a lot of strategy, kind of a chess match, and ideally we come out on top.
Gary went out of his way to point that out too earlier in the show. He said, hey, and I know we always say throw the regular season records out the window no matter what the playoff matchup is, but Nick, specifically when we're thinking about this Binghamton team versus PD, you did only see each other twice, and it was a couple of months ago. Things are different now, and both these teams are different. So some things, some of the players, and of course, these guys know each other from having been around them for however many years, but it is going to be a little bit different look, and that goes both ways. The IceCats have changed as well.
Right. No, they have. Again, we haven't added a ton of pieces. They haven't either, but the changes we've made have been big changes. And, it's going to be fun to see the new matchups because they still have their core group, Yates and CJ Stubbs, Garrett Sargis, Temej is playing phenomenal in the crease for them. But then, we have our guys that are doing really well, our normal top six, and, Colgs is doing great for us right now and all that. And, both teams are battling through the playoffs and bumps and bruises and excitement and adrenaline rushes and everything else. So, what Gary says, throw that regular season record out the window, because, the adrenaline and the push and drive in the playoffs is going to put two different teams looking right at each other on Friday night and see just who wants it more.
Boy, that's the other thing, too. You open up at home at Florence Center in front of a crowd and a fan base that has just been so exceptional all season long. And I mean, I know it's not home ice advantage in that you don't get to play those deciding games in front of your fans, but boy, opening up at Florence Center with those two games, you've got to be pumped for that.
Oh, we can't wait. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. We overheard ticket sales were already phenomenal, even just today. So we know the barn's going to be packed and loud and ready for Friday night. We have the food truck rodeo going on too, so there's going to be extra people around and tailgaters, and there's an aura to the city right now that's different. And I kind of think, we were talking on the way home last night. Binghamton hasn't played in a barn this big and this big of a crowd pretty much all year, except in their own barn. So it's going to be hopefully a new experience for those guys, we hope. And, I'm sure the fans here will make it a little intimidating, which will be fun for them and exciting for us. But we know, when we go up there for games 3, 4, and 5, that barn up there is the same way. It's not easy to play in. It's, the fans are right on top of you and noisy. The old school barn feel that we all miss and love sometimes it's there. So it's going to be tough for both teams to go on the road.
And we want to remind everybody to wear white. We're doing a white out both Friday and Saturday night. That is confirmed. So make sure you've got your white on, because it looked phenomenal when we did the white out for the first ever home playoff game at the Florence Center. And Nick, I'm looking forward to seeing it again.
Yeah, and then we're seeing all this stuff online that fans are starting to get, buy several of these glow sticks and everything else. So, the boys are excited. They can't wait to see everybody, and we can't wait to see everybody either. It's going to be a lot of fun, and even something small is coming out for the third period, and with Phil Collins playing with all the flashlights on. That's just something we love, and we really, as a team, look forward to seeing that and seeing how much everybody's behind us. It's really awesome.
Nick, can you leave us with a thought here for the fans about, coming to the building, whether it's Friday, Saturday, both nights, just something to keep in mind as they come in to see this Commissioner's Cup final in this team's inaugural season?
Well, the biggest thing is just take it all in. You're never going to be able to say again that this team made the Commissioner's Cup final in their first year. This is a one and only chance to say something like that. So, take in the experience, enjoy the atmosphere, lose your voices, and just have fun.
I'm surprised mine has bounced back so quickly after Saturday and Sunday OT winners.
That call on Sunday was a instant ESPN words instant classic.
There you go. That hey, you know what? I hope I have a couple of more of those. Not to wish us to have to go to overtime to win the cup. It's fine if we win it in regulation, but if we do, that'll be fun.
Oh yeah. I don't know if my heart can take that anymore.
Yeah, well, I know that truth right there. Yeah, we'll have to switch to decaf if that happens. So, all right. Well, Nick, I want to say thanks for taking the time and just wish you best of luck coming up here in the final on the weekend, game 1 Friday night of the Commissioner's Cup final against Binghamton. And we appreciate you as always.
Okay. I appreciate it, Tom. Thanks so much, man.
All right. Well, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for this edition of IceCats Insider. My thanks to Nick Graham and Gary Graham for joining the program. My thanks to you for listening in and watching as always. And we cannot wait to see it down at Florence Center Friday night. If you can't join us, tune it in on the radio 100.5 FM here in Florence. Or, of course, you can join us on YouTube as well. Look forward to chatting with you then. Pause up, PD. Get ready. It is time for the Commissioner's Cup final, dropping the puck on Friday night. We'll talk to you then. Thanks for tuning in to IceCats Insider.